Hey everybody, Preston Poulter with Pocket Jacks Comics, and today I'm reviewing Gender Queer, a memoir by Maia Kobabe. So this one is largely autobiographical. It's by Lion Forge. Here's the blurb. In Gender Queer, Maia Kobabe has crafted an intensely cathartic autobiography about air. That's her preferred pronoun. Sorry, I'm still doing the her thing. I'm still gonna keep doing the her thing. I'm not changing. My apologies. If that offends you, this is not your video. Just bail out now. Just pull the ejection seat because I'm gonna refer to her as her. Path to identifying as non-binary and asexual and coming out to air family and society by addressing questions about gender identity, what it means, and how to think about it. The story also doubles as a much-needed, useful, and touching guide. Fair enough. So this is 241 pages, but can be condensed pretty easily, which I'm going to go ahead and do. So Maia is born into a very supportive family. Like she is not challenged or deals with any traumas in growing up. Here are her parents, these hippies in California. And here she is, we start kind of in more present day, or at least close to present day, as she's going off to get her MFA in comics, as the comic tells us that is the thing. Whew, talk about worthless degrees. I mean, here I am doing comics without a degree. Who would have thought it? I remember I was given a speech at a local community college about, screenwriting and making movies and stuff. People were like, what was your college degree? And I was like, chemistry. Oh well. So yeah, here we go. And she's got these questions about gender. So then we kind of go back in time, and here's the family. It's this loving, hippie, supportive family. And in the midst of all this support, she essentially grows up without any external challenges. And so her biggest challenge is internal. And I will show you through the book. But first, I want to say, I, as a parent of a daughter, took kind of a different philosophy. I felt that there needed to be real challenges in my daughter's life. And particularly when she got an ADHD diagnosis, I know I've talked about this before, I'm going to talk about it again. My response, instead of drugs, was to start taking her to GoCore Mixed Martial Arts Academy in North Hollywood, which is where Ronda Rousey had trained. And the classes weren't even in English; they were in Armenian. She was the only girl, the only white kid, only one who didn't understand Armenian, and she was just in this very rough and tumble environment. And I got to say, she hated it, but she's thankful that she went. She had this external challenge, and it forced her. And it's when you are confronted with an external challenge, my personal philosophy, my belief about life and parenting is external challenges force you to attempt to meet them. And then you have to kind of align your identity and yourself towards the purpose of meeting an external goal. And in the absence of that, we have Maia, who was not challenged. She was simply supported. If you read through the comic, everyone is supportive. At no point is anyone saying, I think you got some issues. It's just, oh, okay, whatever. Everyone in her life is just whatever works for you. And long story short, she hates being a woman. No, and she says that. Here, let me show you some of the passages here. I hate it. I hate having boobs and a period. I hate buying bras and underwear. I hate feeling like I have my armpits and a perfect tan. I hate feeling like I'm supposed to wear makeup and like boys and act girly. And, as the other person says, you're the least girly woman I know. But that's, not she. And then we have another shot. So she suffered, the most traumatic event she suffered was having to undergo a pap smear, because it was then she realized that things can go inside her body. I'm just taking the work as it presents itself. So she is absolutely horrified, and she seeks to retreat from, well, as I'll let her tell you. If I could have removed the vagina out of my body after that experience, I would have. And lieu of that, I promised myself that nothing would enter it ever again. So, all right, I gotta put the brakes on here for a minute and just say, okay, Pap smear. I don't think it gave an exact age, but this is late teens, early 20s kind of thing most of the time. That was, as the book says, that was the biggest trauma that she suffered in, sorry, her life, and she had a real hard time dealing with it. And notice, her response is not, I need to learn to allow things in my body sometimes so that I can undergo these pap smear exams and not be horrified. It's instead to just resolve, the world's got to change. Nothing should ever go in my vagina ever again. Which of course puts out partners and family, and then as we see as we read through the book, she can't maintain a relationship. She goes out with a lesbian, and the lesbian's trying to make her happy. Here, let me show you the lesbian pages here. So sort of, but not. It's more about not being female than being male. So it's not that she really wants to be a man. It's that she does not want to be a woman. So, but here she is in her, kind of setting down the rules with her prospective lesbian friend who's interested in dating her, and she's saying, no penetration, and I'm probably not gonna ever want to go down on you because fluids freak me out. So basically no sex, pretty much. Like nothing's happening with her, and she's not, and essentially, yes, she also identifies as asexual, and pretty soon this relationship with her lesbian friend breaks off, and so she ends up alone, just wrestling with her gender. And I gotta think that if Tyler Durden had stepped in and given her some pain, and maybe confronted her with some of her personal failings, and forced her to acknowledge and revel, or at least accept her inadequacies, her failings as a person, her inability to connect or to do anything meaningful, then maybe she might be different. Now, we're just speculating here, but she, by the way, the book does say that her sister is also lesbian. So, what are the odds, right? What's going on in this household that we got two girls, both kind of lesbian, but one of them is just so out there that she can't even really connect to sexuality, period. If we're just randomly rolling dice and it's all genetic, it's all just born that way, then that's a very statistically unlikely scenario, right? But I'm supposed to ignore the notion that maybe parenting had something to do with that? I'm sorry, I think there's a fundamental truth here. And I know this is probably going down as hate speech. But if Maia were challenged, if she were forced to align herself towards the expectation of an external force, of family, of society, and try and find out how best she could provide for other people and support, I'm going to speculate that maybe she wouldn't have these problems, or at least not nearly as much. So, anyway, at the end of the book, it is all about family and connecting. And here, I'll just show you, at the very end of the book, she has this big discussion about pronouns and this and that and the other, and wanting to have her breasts removed, and hooray. And then at the very end, it's a connection once again to family. But it's not her family. Here, I'll show you. I always wrestle with this at inopportune times. It's not her. Yeah, yes. So it's not her family. It's that. So here is her cousin, because her sister's a lesbian, and so her cousin is with a guy, and they're having a kid, very traditional, and the idea that they are going to allow and encourage this child to know her aunt slash uncle, I don't know what pronouns you would go with on that one, means the world to her. So it's about connection and acceptance to a family, but you have to beg her off onto this connection with your niece or something. And how much of a family connection can that really give you in comparison to the family connection you could go out and create for yourself? I mean, this whole thing, this whole book shows a failure to connect to anybody. And at the end, I'm left speculating whether this person can make a relationship work with anyone. I mean, she's cut herself off from essentially everybody, right? Like, not even lesbians can do it for. So I guess she is now fishing out of a very small pool. What, she's looking for another transgender asexual to get together and not have kids with and not have sex with and just kind of pass each other in the hallway and talk about Harry Potter and David Bowie.
Catalogs and wonder, what kind of dining set defines me as a person? This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
Passing away 1 minute at a time. And that's how you want to spend it? I'm sorry. But as a piece of artwork, this fails to connect. To me, I got to think the actual market for this is very small. And really, how can we connect to this journey, which is not showing any successful interaction with other people, except for, oh, gee, I finally got these other people who supported me in everything I do, to now you refer to me as this other pronoun. All right. So, that's my review. I hate to say it, but when we're just doing this wallowing in the self, we don't present anything that's very good, and this book is an example of something which is not very good. I'm not even going to plug my own work. I don't even want it in any way attached to the horrible travesty that is genderqueer. Thank you for your time.